We're going to first start with, is the Kansas City Chiefs offense back to the old Kansas City Chiefs offense, or is this going to be more of the same this year?
I love Patrick Mahomes. I love Patrick Mahomes. He has brought me 3 championships, and he has done a fantastic job. Um, However, he cannot operate under these conditions when you have Juju Smith-Schuster as your number one wide receiver. And this goes back to like my concerns from before the season. I've really been worried about the Chiefs the last couple of years in terms of being able to push the ball down the field, having that vertical threat. Xavier Worthy was supposed to fix that. Obviously, Taylor Swift's boyfriend took care of him game one, so he's going to be out for a couple weeks. Hopefully, he comes back, but yeah, and I'm sure mid-season addition of Rashee Rice is going to help a lot. Obviously, Rashee Rice was like a top 10 wide receiver when he was playing last year. But very concerning because the Chiefs' defense also did not look awesome. Justin Herbert actually played good that game, which has been quite rare against the Chiefs if you've been watching their divisional matchups the last couple years. So,
As far as the Kansas City Chiefs offense, I have a lot of faith that once Xavier Worthy and once Rashee Rice come back fully healthy, everybody's back in this offense. And again, my whole prediction all year has been, because I think the defense for the Chiefs is going to go somewhere between 3-5 to 7-11. I think that because of the defensive backs, I think the Kansas City Chiefs offense is going to get better because of that. And because Patrick Mahomes has an urgency to push the ball, unlike the last 2 seasons, which obviously we all saw week one, which again, your wide receiver 1 is out and your wide receiver 2, who you built an entire game plan for, got injured in the first couple of drives. I don't know what is happening with the Kansas City Chiefs and injuring their own players, only skill position players injuring other skill position players. I don't know why that's a trend. I would like that to please stop.
I mean, I don't think you can look at the Chiefs right now and say they're the best team in the AFC, especially after what happened Sunday night with the Bills and Ravens. I'm not saying they're not going to be there at the end of the season at all. I don't think that's the case, but um, this was the Chiefs 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022 was you could put up 40 points a game if you needed to. Pat could go bar for bar with anybody in the league that he needed to, or he could get in a gritty slugfest and just grit it out. But you see every Chiefs game just turned into a grit and grind game. And I think the Chiefs, I don't want to say lucky because obviously they have won all of these games and football is not only a game of luck, but their matchups have just turned into a slugfest every time in the playoffs. And I understand defense wins championships, yada, yada, yada. But if you're getting a subpar defensive year out of Spags defense, then I mean, the Ravens or Bills could easily hang a 40 burger in the playoffs and they could be walking to the Super Bowl. So I don't know. We'll see.
Nothing about week one showed me that they would have an ability to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in January and February. I mean, we're not going to learn anything from the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season when it comes to that kind of thing. Really, I mean, for me, Buffalo and Baltimore cannot do anything for me to think that they're going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs unless I see a drastic fall off from the Chiefs. And let's be honest, some of their best regular seasons have been not their best seasons, which obviously with Patrick Mahomes, the standard is AFC Championship game and Super Bowl, so high standard. But the Chiefs won a Super Bowl 2 years ago with every game besides the wild card game being on the road and facing a lot of adversity that season and a lot of turmoil. I felt like the end of the Chiefs, and then they went on the road in Baltimore, in Buffalo, going to the Super Bowl and won. I'm going to always believe they can do it, like Nate said, unless Buffalo or Baltimore proves it to me. So I will always pick the Kansas City Chiefs unless the Chiefs tell me otherwise.
Tampa talk. I'm so in on the Bucks, buying all the Bucks stock. Caden threw the alley-oop perfectly. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they got swept by the Falcons last season. I think they went 0-2 against Atlanta. Can someone spot check me
I'll
on
double
that
check that
as
real
I
quick.
continue? But man, going in and playing a grimy ass division game on the road, week one, the Falcons are healthy, expectations are high. And, you know, the Bucks hung in there. They took the punches. They took the Bijan Robinson touchdowns to the face. And, man, I really don't see a world where the Bucks aren't a top 3 seed. And that might be, like, duh. But I see a real world where they go 5-1 or even 6-0 in their division. I just don't see anyone else in this division contesting them, especially with how bad Carolina has looked. Dude, I just love Bucky Irving. And Emeka Egbuka,
Luka,
Truth.
yeah. Apparently, he's the truth.
the truth. He's the truth.
Everybody at
He's the
training
truth.
camp was like, he's the best guy we've seen ever walk through these doors.
We've been talking a lot lately, just like between us three, who we think like the best quarterbacks in the NFL are. Why is Baker Mayfield not higher on everybody's lists? Like, I feel like people make their list and they go through like the usual people, and it's like, oh yeah, I guess Baker's in there. He's been the best quarterback in the NFL statistically the last 2 seasons, touchdown wise. Nobody has outpaced him, and it's like, okay, so he puts up points. Why does that separate him from everybody else? So, I love the Bucks as contenders. I haven't really started buying in until the last couple weeks, and week one made me feel great about it. Like, it was a gritty, grimy game against a division opponent that they probably should have lost, and those are the games you win as a contender. So we'll see what happens, but I like Baker a lot.
Do you guys find it interesting at all to talk about the Ravens blowing leads all the time?
I think it's interesting that it happens in so many ways because, obviously they have the Derrick Henry fumble to lose this game against the Bills, where I think they were like 99.1% favored to win that game Sunday night, and then it just inexplicably happens. Can we talk at some point about like the supporting cast around Lamar and what he is being offered up and his ability to actually like pull through these games? Because like, I don't think Lamar has a limited skill set. I think Lamar has a very specific skill set that I think you can win with, but I think, as in any system in the NFL, because people just think quarterbacks are supposed to overcome everything for some reason. I don't know why nobody talks about the system or the scheme they're in. That feels like it's important. But when you have a quarterback like Lamar, you need players around him to support that. And I don't think he's had that. And that includes his coaching staff.
That was kind of the conversation I'm bringing up, because the Baltimore Ravens have had the exact same issue for 6 years now. Lamar's entire career. They're a really good regular season team, if not one of the best or the best regular season team. And they make it to the playoffs, and the team as a whole, not just Lamar Jackson, the team as a whole has the worst game of the season in the playoffs, scoring wise. Sometimes it's weird coaching decisions, but particularly the points that are scored. Most of the time, the lowest scoring game they have all season is in the playoffs, and most of the time, they've made the conference championship once in Lamar's career. So I think Lamar Jackson clearly had playoff flaws early in his career and showed James Harden tendencies. I don't think Lamar Jackson at this point in his career is James Harden or will ever be James Harden. James Harden, every single chance he got on a very, very, very large sample size and in the NBA playoffs, choked every single time in like unbelievable, horrible, awful fashion. Lamar Jackson is not that. But Lamar Jackson did put the ball on the ground in the last year's playoffs, and he did throw a bad interception in the last year's playoffs, and he made up for it. And he had a lot of great plays. Again, Lamar's a top 3-4 quarterback in the league, and he's probably one of the most fun athletes I've ever seen in any sport, bar none. But there's something that they need to do if they don't win it this year, or at least like make it to the Super Bowl or make it to the conference championship and have a great season. What if they lose in the second round? You're not trading Lamar. You're not trading Derrick Henry. You're not getting rid of the whole defense. Maybe you get rid of a defensive coordinator. The only option is the head coach in the NFL. So my question is Harbaugh somehow on like not a hot seat, but like they're monitoring it? It's a little warm?
They kind of get complacent in their game plan and their aggression. Something that we can all at least admire about the Lions is that regardless of the result, they're going to be pedal to the floor. And the Ravens are just kind of weird about that. They have this like confidence in themselves that it's just gonna work out for them. They have the system for it. They have the infrastructure. They have the roster. They have the staff. But just time and time again, it just doesn't work. And so I wonder if that's a mindset thing that kind of like you alluded to, could be resolved by looking elsewhere at the head coach position.
I would be stunned if Lamar Jackson ends his career without a Super Bowl win. I feel like it is just simple math. If he's this good for that many years, Peyton Manning was a great example. And honestly, I think Lamar and Peyton Manning are a great comparison because Peyton Manning also had the playoff struggles in the postseason every single year. But he was just so good that even Peyton Manning falling down, he was still better than a lot of the quarterbacks that he was playing against. So he just happened to win 2 Super Bowls, and one of them he was just bad in the Super Bowl game, at least, with Denver, of course. But the Super Bowl with Indianapolis, like, he was bad for Indianapolis in the postseason most of the time, but he's just so fucking good that the drop is still better than a lot of guys. I just can't imagine. Lamar Jackson is so good and he's gotten over the passing parts of his game. Lamar Jackson can play within the pocket and have a fantastic game. It's been a great evolution to watch. He's not just like read optioning the whole game. You don't see that anymore. He plays a sophisticated quarterback style now with the crazy athletic running that he can do. It's great to watch. If they don't make it to the conference championship game or at least make it to the Super Bowl, like, something has to change, and it's not Lamar Jackson.
God forbid.
I'm back on the Steelers, at least a little bit. At least in terms of, sorry, let me clarify. I'm back
Super Bowl.
in a sense of I'm back in a sense of I was so low on this team that I thought they were going to be more than a few games under 500. I thought this whole A-Rod experiment was going to explode, and I was on fire Mike Tomlin talk. That being said, I think I've tempered those a little bit, and I'm back up to their normal Steelers. You know, back up to 9-8. But I think there's a real world where they're competing with the Bengals for like a wild card spot, and the Bengals have a lot of issues of their own, and it just might fall that way where the Steelers go 9-8 or 10-7, and the Bengals are right around there, and it's like, oh gosh.
Yeah, Nate, to your point about Steelers quarterback play in the last couple of years, I saw a stat, and I want to say it was 2021 was the last time a Steelers quarterback has thrown 4 touchdown passes in a game. So they have gone 4 years without a above average game by a quarterback, and it took 1 game into Aaron Rodgers' tenure there. Now he's also 42, so this could all change quite quickly, but I agree with you.
Yes, it could.
I agree with you. I thought A-Rod looked in command and control out there. You see the first drive where he gets sacked, and it's like, oh no, is this 2023 all over again? Like, are we about to watch this on repeat? And nope, he went out and balled. He also had an interesting quote afterwards where he was like, I was proud to beat anybody associated with the Jets. And it's like,
love that.
Okay, dude, weren't you the one that wanted Nathaniel Hackett brought in?
Thank you.
To coordinate the offense and
bro. They built
and to bring Devontae Adams in.
They built the whole team around you, bro. It's fine. It didn't work, but move on, my boy. Move on.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I was gonna say I could kind of see why he feels slighted. I can't though. I really can't.
The Steelers are going to be the Steelers. They are never going to be bad. They're never going to be bad. Anybody who says
they just refuse.
Anybody who says the Mike Tomlin Steelers are going to be bad, it's like, dude, we just don't even care about history. Yeah, I know. I was stunned.
Is that good though? Like, is it good to just never be bad?
I
no.
completely understand the point.
Not good.
Could their organization use a reset? Sure.
Yes.
But you know what? The Panthers exist.
Sometimes you just gotta win football games.
The Saints fans exist. Like, those teams would fucking die to win 10 games a year
to be the Steelers
and make the playoffs and lose the wild card game. They would die for it. And the Pittsburgh Steelers got enough Super Bowl championships anyways. Who cares?
Parity in the NFL isn't the same as like parity like in the NBA or baseball, And
it's
especially with a small
it's a
sample size, like you mentioned earlier.
one game elimination. If you make it to the playoffs, all you need to do is win 4 games. It's not like you're the 7th seed in the NBA and you're like, all right, we need to beat this best team in a 4-game series with the play-in now, and then this best team in a 4-game series, and another 4-game series. It's like you got to win 16 games, dude. You're the Steelers. You're like, hey, I know it's probably not going to happen, but like, it is only 4 fucking games. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways,
Sometimes it's cool to win 15 of the 16.
The magic carpet ride for the Pacers is not over. They'll play for an NBA title on Sunday night in Game 7.
That's really nice. We don't really care about the seasons around here, but yeah, sure. That was cool.
Before we hop off, I have one last thing to say. I would just like a public apology to Daniel Jones.
Yep.
I was a big Danny Dimes hater, and look, I'm not gonna stake my flag in it for the rest of the season, but I just want to say I'm sorry. I was wrong, and I was wrong to Shane Steichen. I freaked out. I was freaking out, dude. I was freaking out about the AR benching. I was ready to start burning jerseys, unfollowing Colts things on Instagram and shit. I apologize. I love the new ownership. I'm sort of back on Shane Steichen, and I'm in on Danny Dimes. Go Colts.
We should check back in on that apology around like week 5 or 6.
Danny Dimes is so ass. Get
Let's check back in like 5 days and see how it goes after Sunday.
Where is AR?
He did that today.
So far, they are 3 for 3 figuring it out. I'm starting to wonder just how good this Colts team really is.
Final score 40.
I think we're going to beat the Broncos.
Oh,
Leverage. Defense number 96.
It's good, and the Colts have won.
AR got traded to the Panthers. He's gone. No.
Should we all sing the song together before we hop off? 3, 2,
I think I'm
1.
losing connection.
This is our Colts.
Yes.
This is our team.
We
bleed blue. This is our Colts. Whether win
I
or
can't
lose,
condone this. I
we
can't condone.
love them. For the shoe, beat the Broncos. Let's show them who the real horse is. This is our team. Go Colts! Nah!